the miraculous and the positive impact of sports on today's youth. So, if we start with the present situation of pandemic, we see that even in the current education system, there has been a lot of focus on emotional and mental well-being and nurturing of life skills. So, even in the education sector, something which had been long neglected, in the last 10 months, we have seen a lot of focus being placed on these areas. So, when we come to the benefits of sports and positive benefits of sports, I would like to start off with the life skills. Sports teaches the youth a lot of life skills, which will be required by them in days to come. Teamwork, social skills, healthy habits, sense of discipline. And when I say sense of discipline, I essentially mean self discipline. Sportsmanship, collaboration, cooperation, healthy competition, resilience, the ability to get up each and every time the moment you are knocked down, respect and value for rules and regulations, goal setting, risk taking, leadership skills, and development of strategic and analytical thinking. So, in the current educational system, I must say that a lot of value and importance is placed on competition right from the early years of childhood. Though in the real life, the two major skill sets which are required to thrive in the 21st century happens to be collaboration and cooperation. And sports is one such domain which gives equal emphasis to healthy competition and at the same time collaboration and cooperation. When we come to the health benefits that sports has, so sports seems to have enormous and numerous health benefits. The rise in the adolescent and adult obesity has been a widespread epidemic over the last 2 decades. According to World Health Organization, approximately 3.2 million deaths occur each year due to lack of or insufficient physical activity and without being getting involved in the sporting activities. Childhood obesity no doubt has been one of the major and serious public health issues of the 21st century. The positive influence of sports and physical activity can directly combat and prevent obesity and obesity related a lot of health disorders such as cardiovascular diseases, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. So if you have to, give rise to a healthy and a happy nation, which is fit, that is fit India, so definitely you have to rely on active participation in sports. Additionally, involvement in sports can also help children to develop respect for their own bodies and at the same time respect for others. It also leads to positive development of mind and body, leading to higher self confidence and self esteem. So, as we all know that, if we have to look from the perspective of psychology and biology, adolescence is a transitional phase and it's a very, very complex time in a person's life. A lot of hormonal changes take place, and due to which we see that during that particular stage, boys and girls often, suffer from lack of self-esteem because of how they look physically. So sports in many ways can help mitigate those kind of, you know, low self-esteem issues and can actually give a spur to the higher self-esteem in our youth. So that is also a very important dimension. Other significant psychological benefits of sports definitely happened to be in reducing anxiety and depression. So it is a known fact, and it's particularly relevant in today's times, and especially during the present context of pandemic, that a lot of mental health issues and alarming rise in the rate of team suicides have really, this has something which has really been a very big issue. So sports and regular, participation in sports and physical activity definitely helps a lot in reducing that anxiety and depression in today's youth. I would also, like to mention that sports give a dose of happiness. And when I say dose, dose is used as an acronym where D stands for dopamine, O stands for oxytocin, S stands for serotonin, and E stands for endorphins. So these are all the happiness chemicals which our brain releases when we feel happy. So, sports is one such domain which gives a spur to the happiness chemicals in our body. And at the same time, it helps in the reduction of the stress hormone, that is cortisol. So, psychological benefits also, if we see that sports has enormous psychological benefits. Uh, in fact, what I feel is that the same effect that an antidepressant has, sports has the same effect on the youth. So, in terms of happiness, in terms of self esteem, in terms of one's development of one's confidence, sports can go a long way. Coming to the other benefits of sports, which are equally positive and which are related to uh, a student's learning and academic performance and academic development, we see that there are a lot of benefits of sports which are linked to learning. So sports give impetus to create more confidence, better concentration, alertness, focus, reduced level of stress, tension, anxiety, improved cognitive function, memory, and increase in critical thinking and judgment skills. A study from the VU University in the Netherlands suggests that sports can improve the attention span of the learners. So, in today's age of massive distraction and instant gratification, attention span of the children are already reducing. So, sports actually help in fostering that attention span and in increasing that attention span of a child. The hippocampus is a part of our brain which is directly related to learning and memory. So it has been proved and scientifically proved that this part of our brain, which is hippocampus, which is directly related to learning and memory, can actually get enlarged when a child or a youth participates in sports actively and takes part in the physical activities. So that leads to improved brain functionality, and definitely it has a long term impact on the academic performance of a child. Uh, Studies have also shown that regular sports participation, uh, it also acts as a great creativity booster. Now, it is very important for us to understand, it is very difficult actually when we try to define creativity. A lot of people make a mistake of, defining creativity as something which is being artistic, which is not so. Creativity is being original and at the same time something which has a value. That is what creativity is. And play, passion, and purpose. These are the three ingredients which can actually turn a person into a creative person. So, play, passion, and purpose, very, very important. So, as it is said that the world does not care how much you know, what the world cares about is what you do with what you know. And for that, it is very, very important for, I think, everybody to realize why we are doing what we are doing. So, children are innately creative. They are born creative. So, as Pablo Picasso had rightly said, that every child is a born artist. The challenge is to remain an artist when he grows up. And I think that, that responsibility, that ownership lies today on each one of us as educators, as parents, on the school leadership, to nurture that creative genius in the children. So, sports has proven to be a great creativity booster. And a recent study conducted in the Stanford University also found that there is an improvement, a remarkable improvement in divergent thinking, which is related to out of the box idea creation rather than identifying a correct answer to a question. So, this is also one of the fallacies in our current educational system, that we give a lot of priority to children arriving at a common consensus of one right answer for a question, rather than encouraging the ability to ask one thoughtful and meaningful question. So I think this out of the box thinking is something which can actually create a niche for people and help them to carve a path when they go beyond the confines of the four walls that make up a school. And sports, as the recent studies have indicated, that it gives a spurt to the divergent thinking, out of the box ideas, and creativity. Research has also shown that, and especially I would like to mention National Institutes of Health, NIH, involvement in sports helps to fight addiction and substance use disorders. So let us understand that why people get addicted in the very first place, and why there are so many instances of youth addictions, youth getting on drugs and relying heavily on substance abuse. So, addiction gives a surge of dopamine. So, dopamine is that pleasure chemical which is released by our brain. It has also been proved that regular participation in active sports and team sports also gives a surge to dopamine. So sports can actually act as a substitute, you know, in releasing that amount of dopamine, which is actually released when a person is addicted. So sports can actually prove itself to be a healthy substitute, and it can help youth to come out of the clutches of addictions and drug abuse. uh, I would also like to mention that the active participation in sports is also related to the concept of schooling, and especially in the post pandemic time when the schools are deciding to reopen. So, a number of reimagining the concept of schooling is taking place at various levels, you see. So, a number of studies have shown that once organized sports are introduced in schools and colleges, pupils' attendance have risen. So it acts as a sports, actually act as a kind of a strong magnet to draw people towards the institutions or towards the schools. So it definitely leads to decreased rate of dropouts, which is a major problem across the globe, I think, right now. Additionally, I would also like to mention that a very important area, which is fitness, sports related to fitness. So, participating in sports develops the five components of fitness. And by the five components, I mean strength, speed, skill, stamina, and flexibility. University of Illinois found a strong relationship between fitness of children and their academic performance. I would also like to mention, the ability of sports in nurturing the growth mindset among the youth. So there is a conflict between the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. So the growth mindset is that ability for a particular person to stretch and expand beyond one's comfort zone. Failures and mistakes are inevitable components of one's life. Perseverance, hard work, and a never to give up attitude is needed to succeed in all walks of life, something which is amply demonstrated by sports. When we say sportsman spirit, it exemplifies a growth mindset where sports inevitably places a lot of emphasis on the process rather than the outcome. And I think even for our current educational system, this is something which is very, very, essential and required. Uh, when we come to gender equality and women empowerment, we see that gender equality and women empowerment can also be fostered through encouraging more girls to participate in sports from a very young age. And herein, I think a lot of involvement and active participation and informed participation is required uh, by educational institutes, parents, educators, school leadership, and community to come together. As it is said that it requires a village to raise a child. So you see, I would like to quote interesting statistics to prove that how sports proves to be a kind of an impetus in a girl's life when a girl gets actively involved in sports right from the very childhood. Statistics has shown that female high school athletes are 92% less likely to take drugs. They are 3 times more likely to graduate from high school than non athletes. And girls who are active in sports in their adolescence and young adulthood are 20% less likely to get breast cancer later in their life. So these are, I think, very, very important and eye-opening statistics. I would like to conclude by saying that uh, I think there is a greater role for the educational institutions to come up and encourage sports and regular participation in sports. And this is also something which National Educational Policy 2020 speaks about. That a major fallacy which we have seen, since times immemorial, is that sports has been looked at as an extracurricular activity. So instead of being extracurricular activity, it has to be a core component of the curriculum. And I think there is a greater role for the school leadership, the school management, and the faculty members to all come up and do something about it. And because this is also something which NEP 2020 speaks about. Uh, I also, feel that there is a greater role of the educational institutes in making sports as important and compulsory for all. Now, often we see that when annual sporting events are conducted in schools and college, excuse me, school and college level, we see minimum participation or hand-picked, students are, they are selected to participate. But I think, sports should be made compulsory for each and everyone. And there is a greater role even for the parents to come forward. There can be awareness, there can be sensitization sessions conducted by the schools and the educational organizations, which will sensitize parents on a regular basis on the importance and enormous benefits of, involvement in sports. There can also be integration of games and sports in academic planning. So if we want to have learning as fun, or if we really want to have activity oriented teaching and learning, then definitely we cannot leave aside games and sports from our curriculum. And lastly, I would like to mention that in order to build up a strong and a happy nation, involvement and active participation in sports is very, very important, because what is a nation after all? It is a collection of people. It is a collection of strong, healthy, agile, and lively people. And strong, healthy, agile, and lively people, they can go a long way towards making a nation happy and prosperous. And sports can definitely help in making our nation happy and prosperous and successful in days to come. Thank you.
Truly inspiring by the Dr. Shauli Mukherjee. Now I am happy to welcome my young champion. Anapurna is with us. So Anapurna, now you talk to Dr. Shauli and just add your young views in a sports education. We have Atul ji, Rabia, Ragini, Tejaswini, and Kanika ji. So all you added your valuable views in this importance of sports education. Over to Anpurna.
It was wonderful to hear your words, ma'am, and truly it was an experience and a conversation which was enlightening, and I felt that all the points that you brought up are extremely relevant for the youth and for the world at large. Right, sports education, incul- inculcating it from a young age is something very important and missing. And my point of view as a youth is that even from a young age, if it's inculcated, then the kind of enhancement in characteristics or personality of a person is way higher compared to other individuals if a person is involved in sports. Personally, even I have been very involved in sports right from a young age. That is, firstly, I was a badminton player and a TT player, and later I went into kickboxing. Right, sports has been a part of my life throughout my journey, and it is something which has kept me disciplined, most importantly. And I think that that is what has given me an edge. And thank you so much, ma'am. And it was really lovely having you on board.
Thank you, Anapurna.
So
Yes,
hi,
I
Dr.
think.
Shauli. Atul Pushpesh here. Sorry,
Yeah,
I was on mute
please.
earlier on. I couldn't acknowledge. I think the Dr. Ms. Rabia was trying to say hello to me. I'm sorry. I was. Everyone was muted by the host, so I couldn't say anything. I couldn't chat. But glad to be on this platform. And Dr. Shauli, I think whatever you said is absolutely on the spot. In my view, I think coming from a corporate background. I feel that sports really is very key ingredient in terms of developing yourself, on the EQ aspects, right? So you find a lot of brilliant people in corporate, with very good IQ, but very few people with good EQ, right? With very good emotional quotient, right? And sports, in my view, and I've been, through my 32 years in the corporate, I have promoted sports as something which drives the right competencies and leadership qualities in the people, right? So just wanted to add that perspective that I think having sports right from kindergarten stage and encouraging children to be actively participate in sports is a key thing. And I'm glad that SPA India and all of us are going to promote that. So I just had that comment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Now, Tejaswini, share your young views.
A very good noon to all the honorable dignities present here. Myself Tejasni Anand and I'm from Jammu. As today's discussion topic is miraculous and positive impacts of sports on youth. As we know that sports is the backbone of our country and play an important role in building a strong and united India. With respect to being a sports lawyer, I have learned that there is a significant and premium on being a sports ready lawyer with a diverse skill set. Ultimately, the best value we can deliver to sports is by being excellent lawyers, and we are lawyers in sports industry rather than sports professional in the legal industry. No amount of love and passion or following of sports can compensate for legal skills. The first priorities must be on the development of the legal aptitude experience. Alongside, one can work for the development and sensitivity of the understanding of sports context. Then it's about using every opportunity you get to use this legal skills on the project that directly or indirectly involves sport. With the skills in place, the passion can drive the effort and will compensate you in many different ways in the course of career. And also, I would like to say that playing the sport with youth is a valuable, teaches the youth valuable lessons, life skills, including leadership, the value of teamwork and cooperation, as we know that an athletic youth can learn how to handle the stress, pressure, set goals, and work hard to reach the goal. Thank you so much.
Very nice, Tejaswini, for your young views. Kanika Chopra, yeah, please unmute. Unmute, please. Kanika, unmute, please. Yeah.
Very good morning to everyone. Not very good with my throat today, so won't be able to speak really good today. But it was pleasure listening to all the eminent speakers to the entire, entire subject is really because if you look at the happiness which you have shared with us, the kind of all these hormones being released when we get into the sports activities. That's my personal experience. I'm just going through a very difficult phase, you can say. But since I've started playing the sports, my mindset has started changing to a different level. I've started playing a badminton every evening for approximately an hour or so, and it has started giving me a different kind of happiness while I play badminton with my daughter. It's not a professional playing, but still it's giving me a lot of different enhancement in my happiness or in a mood. So that's a proven point practically, which you have shared with all of us, that sports is being changing scenario life of many in different forms, and giving us a different way of handling our journey, which might be difficult at times. And and definitely creating a lot of discipline. I always want my children to get into a sports to ensure that they groom up as a different person with the discipline in their life. So it's been pleasure listening to you and all of the speakers. I always appreciate this platform. Dr. Dave, give us to speak and to listen, which give us a different insight to subject and understand it to the core. Thank you so very much. Over to Dr. Dave.
Yeah. Nice words, Dr. Kanika. And truly, you are a very brave woman. Dr. Kanika is a director of SPA India from Central Delhi. Yeah, Rabia, I wish to listen you also, Rabia.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry. Right. So I was actually mesmerized with the words of Dr. Shauli, the way she has articulated each and every word, and the way she has connected everything with the NEP. To be honest, Dr. Dev, I've been hearing a lot of webinars, a lot of workshops where it comes to the NAP, where it comes to education, where it comes to 21st century life skills. But Dr. Shauli, as I said, I'm totally overwhelmed and impressed the way you have connected the 21st century skills with the sports and why sports are important. It actually helps in creating all the skill set in the students, in the youth. Plus it keeps us fit. It doesn't only keeps us physically fit, but it keeps us mentally fit. So I really wish that each and every individual, each and every youth of this nation should get involved in the sports. And the sports should not be only a co-curricular, the extracurricular activity. It should become a curriculum. It should be a co-curriculum now. And as NEP has come into picture, I think a lot of things are we are hopeful that a lot of things will be improved in the schools when it comes to the root learning or the book learning, the lecture based learning. And these all real life skills are important when it comes to the nurturing of the kids, because of the fact these skill sets, the creativity, the critical thinking, the fitness of the body, the fitness of the mind plays a vital role when it comes to a proper and a complete and respected human being of the nation, because of the fact youth are the future of the nation. And when they are fit and when they are mentally fit, only then they'll be able to create something out of the box for the society. and we will have a better place of the world to live in. So that's all I would like to say. That khele, khelega India and
Khilega India.
Khega India. Absolutely right, sir. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thanks all. Thank you.
So nice, so nice. As you saw, the backside, my backdrop is the 21st century management education copyright. So we are a first one in the world those got this copyright for the management education from Planning Commission of India and the Industrial Planning Promotion. Then I wish to ask something from Ragini. Would you like to share something, Ragini, in Hindi? No issue. Ragini is a very brave woman. She also saw many ups and downs, but sports still keep her very strong. Ragini, unmute.
Hello.
Yes, Ragini. Bolo.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Bolo.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
हाँ रागनी हिंदी पंजाबी बोलो कोई गल नहीं
अच्छा ठीक है सर मतलब मैं दसा कि मतलब सब कुछ एक्सप्लेन करा कि स्पोर्ट्स की ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ
ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਬਦਲੀ ਹੈ ਸਪੋਰਟਸ ਨੇ
ਸਪੋਰਟਸ ਵਿੱਚ
ਬਿੰਦਾਸ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਹਰਿਆਣਾ ਸਭ ਮਿਲਾ ਦਿਓ
हेलो
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬੋਲੋ
वॉइस प्रॉब्लम हो रही है शायद
नहीं सब कुछ नहीं हो रहा बोलो बस
स्पोर्ट्स इज ए
और बिंदास पंजाबी बोल रागनी ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਚ ਹੋ ਬਈ ਕ੍ਰਿਕਟ ਹਾਂ ਕ੍ਰਿਕਟ ਦੇ ਕੋਚ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ चिंता ना करियो सब ਨੂੰ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਵੀ ਆਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵੀ ਆਂਦੀ ਹੈ कोई फिक्र ना करियो
ठीक है
बोलो
ठीक है
यू आर वेरी ब्रेव रागनी
स्पोर्ट थैंक यू सर स्पोर्ट्स में हम स्टार्टिंग से लेकर अब तक अपने बच्चों के साथ भी करते हैं स्कूल में फैमिली में सबको सपोर्ट करते हैं इवन तक कि हमारी जो फैमिली है वो भी हमें स्पोर्ट्स में ही स्पोर्ट्स करती है तभी हम इतने आगे तक पढ़ पाते हैं इसमें रिक्रिएशन इसमें जैसे फंडामेंटल स्किल्स हैं फंडामेंटल ऑफ यूथ स्पोर्ट्स और इसमें बेसिक्स आ जाते हैं फ्यूल्स ऑफ बेसिक्स कीप इट सिंपल
रागनी ज्यादा पैनिक ना हो अपनी लाइफ बताओ कैसे स्पोर्ट्स ने आपको संभाला जिंदा रखा हाँ स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाया
मैंने स्टार्टिंग 1996 से स्टार्ट किया था क्रिकेट खेलना तब से लेके अब तक 2009 में मैरिज हुई थी उसके बाद स्टार्टिंग से ही क्रिकेट खेलना मुझे बहुत पसंद रहा है
वेरी नाइस
और जैसे जैसे हम बड़े होते गए वैसे वैसे ही हम अपने टीम में कॉलेज में गए कॉलेज में बच्चों के साथ फिर आगे ऐसे लाइफ को एंजॉय किया अपनी और मुझे स्पोर्ट्स ने बहुत कुछ दिया है और स्पोर्ट्स और की दसा सर
नरेंद्र आहूजा जी दसणगे वो देखो चलो कोई नहीं रागनी
बहुत खुश हूँ स्पोर्ट्स
हाँ बोलो
थैंक यू
कोई कुछ और भी बोलना है बोलो यस
नहीं वो सर दसणगे
अच्छा सर दसणगे नरेंद्र आहूजा जी हाँ जी नरेंद्र आहूजा जी
Dev sir I need to drop off for another call but thank you very
please.
much
So
Dr.
nice
Shauli, thank you very much thank you everyone thank you
so much तो टाइम आई थिंक सबका होने वाला है अगर किसी ने और 1-2 मिनट का कोई व्यूज अपना शेयर करना है देन Anapurna be ready for the convey sincere thanks to Dr. Shauli just ask anybody want to share then you
I would request
Adya wants to say something.
hello beta
Hi, I'm Chopra's daughter.
okay
And my name is Avat Chopra.
Wow.
And I love sports. I play with my sister ball.
Wow, that's good. That's good. You started? Huh?
Yes,
Good, bacha. Very good. Very good.
thank you.
So nice. Welcome. Yes, Anpurna. अरुणा सूद जी, आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे?
Sir, we cannot hear you.
चलिए, हाँ. Anpurna, just for the vote of thanks to Dr. Shauli Mukherjee. Yeah.
Uh, yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am, for having us and here and for giving us such valuable information about sports and how it inculcates a positive mindset in every individual. And it was extremely mind or a path-breaking informative session wherein we were able to understand in depth how sports can change our life, right? Right from the fact that how it helps us hormonally and how it increases the endorphins and gives that positivity just through playing a particular sport. So it's definitely a valuable session, and I'm looking forward to various other sessions in which we learn such knowledge. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for having us here.
Thank you so much. Within 1 hour, we will share the video of this. Hello.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It was nice listening to Dr. Mukherjee and everyone. Great. Thank you.
So nice.
Thank you all. It was a very wonderful session. Thank you, Dr. Shauli, and